Let's talk about how to achieve hyperfocus with ease and on command, so you can take control of your life rather than letting life control you.
Your focus determines your reality.
If you don't control what you focus on, it could slowly poison your relationships, success, wealth, and mental health. But not to worry, because I read multiple books on focus and productivity, and I integrated the information to share with you 5 crucial steps to achieving hyperfocus, so you can be more like this guy instead of this guy. And no, it's not about being less lazy or being more disciplined. Those do not work in the long run. If you miss one of these 5 steps, your chances of achieving constant hyperfocus on command will be significantly reduced, so make sure you watch till the end. Imagine not being able to focus till the end of a video called How to Hyperfocus.
Ironic.
So step 1 is meta-awareness. Let's ask ourselves this one question. How often do you find yourselves intently focused on something compared to the amount of times you mindlessly doom scroll cat videos or you're daydreaming about the Roman Empire? The problem we have here is we're not even aware of our cognitive state. When you're doom scrolling, you're probably getting the same feeling I get. You feel like you're in a trance and you don't even know what you're looking for, but yet you keep searching for it. What was I meant to be doing? How did I get here? The reason we end up daydreaming or mindlessly scrolling in our phones is because you haven't mastered the art of being aware of what cognitive state you're in. You are either in 2 states, the attentive state or the autopilot state. This author categorizes it as top-bottom or bottom-top. Our emotions, instincts, and automations and habits, good or bad, are automated autopilot. The human body evolved to do things efficiently, so we default to this state to conserve energy. How many times did you pick up your phone to open the calendar app, but then you ended up on Instagram and TikTok by automation? 30 minutes goes by and you didn't even remember why you picked up the phone in the first place. Our bodies resist pain, and unfortunately the things we want to focus on generally cause us pain. My body would much rather get a cheap hit of dopamine and will naturally automate my arms and hands and fingers to reach for those things. So the only way to stop these automated habits are to become meta-aware of what state we are in. This book suggests to have a chime that goes off every hour, and when it does, ask yourself, was I in autopilot, daydreaming, or in a trance? Or was I doing something with intention? Intention? That's a nice segue into the next step of hyperfocus. Intention is the beginning of all meaningful and purposeful work. You never accidentally automate yourself to sit at your desk and write a state-of-the-art book by accident, unless you're a bunch of monkeys. But if you're not, keep watching. Intention leads to attention, and then hyperfocus, and then eventually the flow state. So how do we make good intentions? There are 2 ways. The first is to set specific intentions. The more strong and specific the intention, the more likely it'll get done. This book cites a study where 62% of students who set specific intentions achieve their goals versus 22% of students who set vague intentions and did not. Example, draft a script for YouTube at 9 AM versus make a YouTube video. Notice I didn't use a to-do list. To-do lists don't work unless you allocate times for them. I still have tasks to do in my to-do list from years ago and I still haven't crossed that out. You have to time box and schedule it in. Another example is sleep early. The better way is brush teeth and wind down at 9 PM, lights off at 10 PM. Or go to the gym versus go to the gym on my way back from work and do chest day. The first example doesn't work. Your brain will be like, sure, I'll go to the gym in a million years. The second thing to keep in mind when setting intentions is the rule of 3. Pull out a pen and paper and divide your tasks and habits into what is necessary, purposeful, unnecessary, and distracting. For me, my necessary tasks, like doing taxes and answering emails, are productive, but they're unattractive. The task of making YouTube videos, doing meaningful work, are productive and attractive. Why these things are attractive to me is that they add value to my life and to others. Well, I hope you find it valuable. The rule of 3 simply means to pick 3 purposeful tasks to work on the next day. Why 3? Well, it's because of this thing called attentional residue. Whenever we switch tasks, there's always something from the previous task that weighs on our minds, and your mind keeps trying to solve or think about it. This is especially true if the thing you were doing before was left on an open loop or a cliffhanger, or if it was especially emotional. We are changing our tasks way too often and make the time spent on our tasks less efficient. Attentional residue can last up to 20 minutes or so, which is quite a sizable amount of time when you add it up over the day. This is why you should also not schedule a day like this, but like this. A good way of getting rid of attentional residue is to take a break after the previous task and go for a walk, listen to music, have a cup of tea. You get the gist. Would you believe it? This is a seamless transition to the third step of hyperfocus, energy allocation. This is another reason to schedule a day like this. It's because generally after 90 minutes of hyperfocus or flow state, your brain could end up like this. This is because of the ultradian cycle. There are two things to keep in mind when allocating tasks to energy zones. The first is obvious. Do your hardest work when you have the most energy, your easiest work when you have low energy. The second thing to keep in mind is the best way to recharge is to do automated, habitual tasks which redirects your blood flow from the prefrontal cortex to the basal ganglia. The best thing you can do is go for a nature walk, and that's shown in science. And this is where we introduce something called Scatterfocus to boost your productivity to the next level. Not all mind wandering or daydreaming is bad. It is actually very effective in recharging our brain and our attentional reserves. And it happens to be our most creative state. When we are hyperfocused, it is hard to be creative because we are focused on one thing. But to be creative, we need many thoughts and drawing connections between the ideas. This is basically how shower thoughts work. So when doing these breaks, intentionally scatter focus around a particular topic or subject that you're trying to solve. How I use it is I go for a walk and intentionally think about how I can provide more value in my videos, about what kind of jokes to use or brainstorming different metaphors to use for you guys. Some of the best ideas came from scatterfocus, like Isaac Newton when an apple fell on his head and boom, gravity. Or my personal favorite, John, this guy, came up with the initial concept of the opera house when he was peeling an orange. Now on to step 4 of hyperfocus, and that is eliminate distractions. Pretty self-explanatory. If you aren't muting your emails, phones, noise, and pets, shh. Unless they're a good boy. When I was writing the script, I reached for my phone 3 times, but luckily I stopped myself before picking it up. As soon as you pick up your phone, you're a goner. This leads us to the last and possibly the most important step. It's often the most overlooked one. But before we do that, please, if you like this video, gently, and I mean gently, click that like button so that YouTube and the algorithm will help promote this video to people like you and hopefully help others. Now on to step 5, master your emotions. Why? Ask yourself this question. Do you remember the last time you were upset, anxious, annoyed, and was able to focus on a productive task extremely well? Probably not. In fact, all these emotions originate from the bottom up or the autopilot response. When our negative emotions are heightened, you'll mindlessly grab your phone to watch videos to ease the stress, to watch sad music videos to make our sadness worse. I don't know why people do this. How we regulate our emotions and how we are able to handle stress is a big predictor of our success in work and our relationships. So how do we overcome the bottom up emotional response? By engaging our prefrontal cortex, which is in charge of our focus and our intentions. Now, I'm not expecting any of us to automatically snap out of an anxious or sad state into an intention hyperfocus state. It's a process. First, say it's normal to have these feelings, because feelings are a natural human experience. Then you can name the emotion you're experiencing. By naming the emotion, you externalize the emotion, and your prefrontal cortex is in control again. These mindfulness practices can speed up the process. I find journaling is helpful. And if you believe in God, prayer for me is the most effective because I'm sitting still and also I'm talking to God at the same time. Next, lift your mood by practicing gratitude for things in your life. Even more so now, because recently, people in war-torn countries don't even know if they'll live the next day, or if they have enough food to feed the family, or if their daughter will survive cancer. Once you realize all the gifts and blessings you have, it's impossible not to feel motivated to sharing your time, your life, and creating value for others, rather than wasting time on TikTok dancing. Research shows happy workers are 13 to 30% more productive. That's why Google works so hard in creating fun and happy environments for their staff, because the research backs it up. Google employees were 37% more productive when Google ensured happiness was in the workplace. For those of you who want to take productivity to the next level, my brother and I, well mainly my brother, are working on a project called ChronoCat. It's like an app that can keep you on task, doing one task at a time. And also it is a time blocking app. Eventually we want to sync it to your calendar, sync it to your emails. And yeah, it's in beta mode right now. We've got the bare essentials. If you're interested to join the beta and try it out for free, just put your name and email in the Google form below. You can help us with suggestions or even recommend some features that you want to have so that we can make the app tailored for you. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much for watching. You're a real one. Your focus is it's on point. You know what to do. Please subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. I've got so much more to say, such as stuff on phone addiction, procrastination, productivity. So yeah, see you in the next one.